Dear friends, hi everyone. My name is Erika Lagerbielke. I'm designer and artist living and working in Sweden. I was planning to welcome you all to the GAS 2020 conference here in Sweden, to Kosta and Vaxjo, where I work. But well, since this didn't happen for reasons that we all know, I'm now happy to join you in this virtual conference. My talk is about designing glass and how I try to materialize emotions in my pieces. I'm going to tell you a bit about how I work as designer of fine crystal and in glass art. I work as independent designer, usually in cooperation with Swedish glass brand Orrefors. Design has always been my challenge and my passion. I'm not a crafter, although when attending art college I did a bit of glass blowing and also took a summer course at a glass school in Orrefors. The courses I took confirmed to me that design rather than craft is my profession. I joined Orrefors in 1982 as designer, already during my college years. I now think I was incredibly young at the time. The Swedish Glassworks has a long-standing tradition of bringing artists and crafters together to a close collaboration. It's a way of working which is both challenging and rewarding, with several strong-minded people involved in the creative process. Sometimes I think it's like working with other people's hands. Sometimes that I have other people inside my brain. When it works, it's a wonderful experience, we're flying. When it doesn't, it's like walking in mud. I have had a great fortune to work with some of Sweden's most skilled master crafters in glass. I'm truly grateful for every moment we have shared over the years. Much of my design work is about designing tabletop products in fine crystal, mainly stemware. Wine glasses such as Intermezzo, with a blue drop, the sensory glass difference that will enhance the wine experience, and the simplistic design Merlot, which is a true example of form follows function. One of my most recent works is a set of stemware, especially designed for a Michelin star restaurant, Operakällaren in Stockholm. I aim to combine beauty, function and sensory qualities in all my wine glass designs. The design of the cup of a wine glass changes how the scent and taste of the wine are perceived. If we had met at the conference in Sweden, as intended, you could have participated in one of my glass tastings. I was offering both champagne glass tasting and beer glass tasting. The invitation stands, and I hope that we can do it sometime in the future. The original drinking vessel is probably the palm of the hand, but a cup was soon preferred. Choose your wine glasses with care and they will enhance your experience of the wine and of the entire meal. I will share a few design stories with you, with the aim to give some insight into my design process. The first story is the story of Intermezzo, the wine glass with the blue drop. Designed and developed in 1984 for Orrefors, this stemware interprets the spirit of the early 80s in Sweden. I was commissioned to come up with a young design, a youthful follow-up to the best-selling designs Illusion and Prelude, designed by Nils Landberg in the mid-50s. The design brief was short, same but different. I had recently started my journey in trying to understand glass. To my good fortune, I had met the great Hans Johansson, master blower at Sandvik's Glasbruk, a subsidiary to Orrefors. He graciously taught me all I know, except from being stubborn, which I already was. The early 80s in design was a lot about adding cheerful details to designs. A red dot here or a blue stripe there. That, in combination with learning how air can be a beautiful decorative detail in glass design, made me create a series of sketches with encapsulated air as the main design feature, for instance a hollow stem. The greatest advantage is that it's really hard to detect the air in a hollow stem unless you are seriously knowledgeable in glassmaking. The target group for this design was wider than that, so I had to develop the idea and I came up with a simple question which I put to Hans. Can the drop be blue? Little did I know what forces I set in motion by this question. What I in reality wanted to know, even if I didn't see it like that, was if air can be colored. A rather difficult matter. Hans, who was innovative, curious and very kind, didn't say, "No, it can't be done," as many people would have. He said, "Let's make some samples." When you find people like that, you should take them by the hand and never let go. They're rare. I held Hans' hand firmly until he retired, and we went for many exciting adventures along the glass road. And we did make samples, lots of them. We tried all possible techniques and all color media. I swear that we painted the entire glasshouse blue. Unfortunately, it wasn't immediately successful, so the floor manager banned Hans from making any further samples. "This will never lead anywhere," said the manager. "Nothing will ever come out of it." Being incredibly stubborn, typical for this area of Sweden I'd say, Hans actually decided to use his spare time to further develop the technique together with his co-worker Einar Liljegren. And lo and behold, success! They cracked the technology needed by inventing an ingenious tool. Today, Intermezzo is the greatest bestseller Orrefors has ever had. It's an international design icon and naturally my signature design. I believe the attraction of Intermezzo is due partly to its strong visual identity and partly to the enigma of the blue drop. How did the drop get in there? How is it done? Intermezzo is still to this day produced by hand in Sweden, now at Kosta Glasswork. Don't be afraid to ask simple questions. Who knows where they will lead? Apart from designing stemware, I also work with unique art pieces and commissions. I really enjoy the commissions. It's an interesting challenge to work with the client to create something that interprets their dreams and desires. I have had all sorts of commissions, special stemware, trophies and awards, a Vice-Chancellor's chain, a Crozier, and the most unique project I have had so far, the wedding gift to the Swedish Crown Princess couple from the Swedish Parliament and government. This is the story of how I, in cooperation with Orrefors, created the royal wedding stemware. It was a secret to the happy couple. My client was the Speaker of the Parliament. In a way it was pretty straightforward. A young couple were going to get married and people wanted to give them the perfect gift. It happens every day, nothing special about that, if the bride hadn't been the Crown Princess of Sweden and the client not the Swedish Parliament. That complicated things, just a little bit. I was invited to the Parliament in great secrecy. They even let me in through a back door. The brief was very open, a set of stemware that should be a statement of Swedish skills in design and glasscraft. 5 different sizes, champagne, white wine, red wine, dessert wine and a glass for water. I immediately knew I wanted to create something contemporary. Gifts to the royals need not be in an antique style. I decided to incorporate all that I knew about stemware design. To make use of the craft skills in the Kingdom of Crystal as in the design vintage. To include something unique as in Intermezzo, and to create a shape that would enhance wines as in the Serious Difference. I thought that the couple probably would have access to some really nice wines. The design needed to be beyond ordinary, something that was elegant and luxurious on a royal level. My idea was that objects that need care and attention might be the contemporary luxury. I decided to create a design that needed to be handled carefully, with attention. I started sketching and went to the hot shop at Kosta Glasswork as soon as possible. I teamed up with Jan Augustsson and Thomas Wingård and his team to make the first samples. We hadn't created any stemware together before, so we needed to get to know each other. I think it was a surprise to them how particular I am with details and precise measurements. But I have always thought that care over detail renders simplicity beautiful. It's even my motto. I developed a design for the set, which I was quite happy with, and then I tried different ideas for the cold work decoration. Maybe some contemporary cutting, maybe painting in gold, or a combination. But then a little bird told me that the Crown Princess wasn't too keen on gold. She very rarely wears jewelry in red gold. I could see that for myself in the gossip magazines, which I overconsumed at the time. Okay, well, back to the drawing board. And then I remembered that when the couple announced their engagement, they told us it had happened when they took a walk on a cold and frosty winter's day. I said to myself, a winter's tale. That's a day they will always remember. I'll do something with frost. And I did. I found something called crystal ice that can be applied to the surface of the glass. The effect is very frost-like. And actually, by having to rethink and to find a new angle, I incorporated the personal and not only the royal perspective of the couple to the design. I believe it added a lot of quality. Then I added their monogram, some needle fin cutting, and I was done. The king himself approved of the design, and when the gift was handed over by the Speaker of the Parliament and the Prime Minister, the couple looked as if they liked it. I then had the opportunity to personally congratulate them when I visited the palace to present them with a gift from Orrefors Kosta Boda. They appreciated the idea of a winter's tale and was very happy about it. Even if the context of the royal wedding was unique and overwhelming, the product as such, a set of stemware, was extremely familiar and my special field of competence. My next story is about something completely different. I was commissioned by the Bishop of Vaxjo to create a crystal crozier. The bishop's motto was, "Joy to all the people." It refers to the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. The crozier is the bishop's staff, always looking like a shepherd's staff with its well-known hook. The crozier symbolizes leadership in the church, how the bishop leads and guides the congregation, being its shepherd. During several conversations with the bishop, we talked about the bishop's role and the use of the crozier. I visited Vaxjo Cathedral, sometimes called the Crystal Cathedral, due to that it's situated in the Kingdom of Crystal and that it holds so many works of contemporary glass art, not least the magnificent altarpiece by Bertil Wallin. The bishop showed me how he would use the crozier in a procession and that it is needed to be possible to dismount the staff into shorter parts, to be able to bring to the different churches all over the diocese. The full length of a crozier may vary, but it should be about the height of a person. I also asked about the expected lifespan for a crozier. How often is a new one really created? Well, said the bishop, the cathedral is medieval. As always, I started with tiny pen sketches, trying to capture an expression and also defining a concept. Very soon I realized that I couldn't make the entire piece in crystal. It would be heavy and fragile, and how I tried, it couldn't get away from a sense of a giant lollipop. I decided on creating the two major narratives in crystal, a crystal star and a fictional relic shrine. The star to be held by a hook of silver and with wood as the actual staff. The idea of the fictional shrine is based on how in the legends of the Diocese of Vaxjo there is a myth about 3 monks, acting as missionaries who were decapitated by the heathen Swedes. No historical facts have been found, but the legend is strong, and for instance the diocese's coat of arms depict the 3 heads. I thought that if the legend had been true, there might have been relics, and if so, it would be appropriate with a small shrine holding these relics. In that case, the shrine could be a part of the crozier. I created a shrine for fictive relics by making a small cylinder in Graal technique with pictures of 3 faces. The Graal technique is an invention made at Orrefors in the early 20th century. Basically, it's a way of encapsulating a picture or a pattern inside a glass. I chose different shades of red for the cylinder, since the legends also tells about flames appearing over a lake as an omen of the decapitation. The bishop was present at Orrefors to witness the making of the Graal cylinder. The small shrine is one of 2 key features in the crozier. The relic shrine makes the crozier site-specific, with its reference to the local martyrs. The other main part is the crystal star. It carries the message of the arrival of Christ, and with its position at the top of the crozier, it literally makes the bishop the bearer of the good news. The crystal star was hand-cut at Orrefors, drawing on the craft heritage of the glassworks. It's a lens-shaped disc with cutting on both sides, held in the hook by the cross of silver. The Crozier was inaugurated one Whitsunday, and it's now part of the medieval cathedral's contemporary glass art collection. Since then, I have become increasingly interested in ceremonial objects and how artifacts can materialize values and emotions. I work internationally and in a wide spectrum of projects. On my drawing board at the moment is a maze for a university and a bowl for a baptism font. I'm so looking forward to the realization of these objects. To end this talk, I would like to share a couple of pictures of unique art pieces created entirely out of curiosity. This work is the foundation of all my artistic work from which I draw my inspiration and creative development. Dear friends, thank you for watching and spending this time with me. I hope to see you in Sweden sometime soon. You are always very welcome.